OneOdio sent me their new Monitor 80 Studio headphones for review. Priced at $99 and featuring an open back design, can they compete in such a competitive price point? Let's talk about it.
Nico knows tech, all your tech tips and reviews on deck. Nico knows tech, #1 channel with the news on check.
Now for full disclosure, OneOdio did send me these free of cost. However, they have not participated in the review whatsoever. This will be an honest review. Now before we get started, check out our sponsor. Do all of your friends call you a loser for using a sus copy of Windows? Then stop being a zero and get ready to be a hero by getting a valid copy of Windows 10. With all the bells and whistles a future superstar like you needs, you might be thinking to yourself, Pro Edition costs $200, see? No. If you follow the link in the description to VIPCDKdeals.com, you can get yourself a Windows 10 Professional Edition for $22.50. Wow! You think that's great? Well, if you use coupon code NK25, you get 30% off. That brings the price of Windows 10 Professional to $15. Wow! All major payment methods accepted, including PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard. Once you have your license key, open Settings, then System, About, then change Product Key. Simply copy and paste your new key and then click Next, and then you are Gucci, my friend. Now, OneOdio is a brand known for making good-sounding products for a great value. I recently reviewed their Monitor 60s, which are studio closed-back headphones, and I thought they were pretty good. I thought they left something to be desired, particularly soundstage, and now they've actually released an open-back design which promises to give a wider soundstage and more natural sound. These are also 250 ohms. Now before we get into all the features, check out the unboxing montage. Now just like the Monitor 60s, the Monitor 80s include a headphone stand. It's a basic plastic base with rubber feet and an aluminum tube here, and then this will be your hanger here for your headphones. It's not particularly high quality, but it's free and it came with your headphones. Now unlike the Monitor 60s, the Monitor 80s include a carrying case. It's a rubberized type of design, and on the inside there's a pocket for your cables, and inside is actually the longer cable. The Monitor 80s have two cables. One is a short coiled cable, and then you have a longer straight cable, which is 3.5mm, 3.5mm. Reversely, the cable that's coiled has a 3.5mm to a 1/4 inch. And you can plug it in either way. You have a 3.5mm. If you plug in 3.5mm, the other end will be a 1/4 inch. So you can go whichever way. Also, this thing does a hat trick. If you plug in here, and I go into my source here, I can have another set of headphones powered through this port here. So you can have two people listening to the same source on the same port. I think that's an interesting feature. I would never use it, but somebody may. Regarding the design of the Monitor 80s, they do have a similar grille to the Monitor 60s, however this one is functional. These are true open backs. And we have plastic yokes here, mostly plastic. We do have a metal grille here and some metal accents here. Also on this part of the hinge is metal, but most of it is plastic. It doesn't feel flimsy, it feels pretty sturdy. We do have a full swivel design, we'll swivel both ways, and it will collapse into a football type shape like this. Now, one thing that I find interesting is that instead of going with the leatherette pads, they went with kind of like a Beyerdynamic style with this velour, and it feels similar to Beyerdynamics. A little bit lighter on the clamping force, but still pretty nice. On the top we have a protein leather wrapped headband, and it has some foam padding on top and on the bottom. And it's not memory foam, but I don't think it needs to be. Now on the insides of the ear cups we do have it marked left and right. Now, as I put on the headphones, one thing about the comfort I'll note is that they feel unusual compared to a lot of headphones. They have a completely round ear cup and it feels very airy in there, but it is an open back design, but especially so on the Monitor 80s. The velour ear pads, they don't compress because the clamping force is pretty light. The pads are soft, but it really doesn't matter because the clamping force is not pushing it onto your head strong enough for it to compress the cushions. Overall, they're pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say they're luxurious feeling, but then again, these are tools and they're designed to be used for work. However, I could wear these for extended periods of time. Now, any potential buyer must take into consideration these are 250 ohm headphones. These cannot be driven by cell phones and portable MP3 players without a sufficiently powerful amp. They're designed for professional audio to be plugged into mix boards and the like, where there's actually a risk of blowing headphones if they're too low impedance and the volume is cranked way up. So as a way of cushioning the user's eardrums and the headphones from damage, they put a 250 ohms so that you can have the volume knob on mixboard set to above 1, and you could have it at 60, for example, for a comfortable listening level. So that's a good feature for pro audio, not a great feature for home audio. And OneOdio went with a 40mm dynamic driver as opposed to the 50mm of the Monitor 60s. The frequency response is 10 Hz to 40 kHz, which is pretty wide. They did get the high-res audio badge, which they did for the previous monitors as well. The overall sound is pretty balanced. Vocals are very crisp and clear. Treble is all in the right places. There is a bit of sub bass, but it's a little bit held back because of the open back design, so a lot of that escapes. You get a lot of reflected bass from closebacks, and a typical issue with open backs is reproduction of bass. I was able to help it out with the Zendac V2 because it had the true bass feature of bassing boost, so you can fix it with EQ, but right out of the box it's going to sound a lot like other open backs regarding the low end. However, when I did listen to some Hans Zimmer tracks that feature a sub bass intro, it was present, so that was a good feature. Resolution and detail, I would say, are good for this price range. Sure, you could get better, but you'd be going to the $150, $180 price point. At $100, sometimes even $79.99, check the links in the description for the most up-to-date prices. I like to compare these to others in this price point, such as the Sony Mdr7506. These have been the industry standard for well over 30 years, and these are a bit more accurate in the high and high mids. They're pretty balanced, about the same. The bass is a little bit tighter on the Sonys, however, that's because they are closed back. The soundstage on these is fantastic compared to the Sonys. The Sonys have almost a no soundstage. They're very narrow, and these are a bit more transparent. I find them overall a great value for pro audio use, especially if you're trying to get a set of headphones that will work and do the job for you and be accuracy for you. But for listening, I can't really recommend these. They do sound great, but you would have to have significant hardware to power them. But overall, they are a great value, especially at the $99.99 price point. If these were $150, I would say, hey, you know what? At that price point, there's a lot better options. But not really. You'd be hard-pressed to find an open back, high impedance set of headphones for work in the $100 price range. You just aren't going to find it. You can find it if you go $50 higher. You can start finding open backs from all of the big name brands. But this is going to be a showstopper as far as pro audio goes, because you can pay $100 and get open backs, and it'll be high impedance, so you're not going to blast your eardrums while using pro audio devices, and you also get the accurate sound from open back designs. Now, if you are looking to pick these up for home audio, make sure you have a powerful enough amp. These are 250 ohms. So if you're using the Zendac V2, you're going to have it up at 90% just to have them at a comfortable volume. So if you have the right hardware and you do want to hear how they sound, I would describe them as slightly bright, mostly balanced, but for listening at home, be advised that these are studio cans, so they're meant to be very analytical, and so if there is sibilance on the track, you're definitely going to hear it. A lot of people want to buy headphones that will cover up sibilance, which I do as well, so these would not be for you if you're looking for home listening and you don't like sibilance if sibilance is on the track. It won't generate a lot of sibilance on its own, but just be advised of that. I hope you found this review helpful. If you like it, please click like and consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time.